Hey everybody, I got the recording started. Welcome to today's meeting. Do we have any new people who wants to say hi?
I'm just visiting, just curious what's happening in the community.
Hey
We're looking
everyone,
at
this is sorry, you can continue.
Yeah, Colin, go ahead and finish your thoughts. Sorry. Thanks
no,
for
you
being so
guys good.
excited on it.
Yeah, we're just interested in the product, and we're curious where it's going. So just popping my head in.
That's awesome. So you're not sure if you would use Kagent yet, but are interested to know where it's headed.
Mm-hmm.
All right, good to know. Nice meeting you, Colin. Ronit, go ahead.
Yeah, sure. So basically, hey everyone, this is Ronit from India, and right now I'm a open source developer and AI developer. And lastly, I joined this Kagent meet in September, where I implemented one small feature. And after 2 months, I basically implemented two big feature. One feature is the visual agent builder. So instead of just having a form-based agent builder, where we need to write text in every text blank. So instead of that, we can have a visual agent builder, something like n10. Like we can just drag and drop, just connect our nodes, and we can have our agent built. So this is the feature which I have built and created PR for this. And accordingly, I have discussed the plan in the meet in September, and right now we can work accordingly. Like Peter has said, he show the demo in the meet. So when he'll join, I'll try to show the demo actually.
Awesome. We really appreciate your contribution. Honestly, I'm not sure if Peter is joining because I saw he's traveling, but we do have our meeting recorded. So we'll probably have you just present to us without Peter if he doesn't join when it's your turn. Dimitri, go ahead.
Yeah, I have a question. If you did the visual builder, how exactly you represent the workflows? Because this is something also we are kind of trying to figure out and implement. So as of now, all the agents are kind of, they can talk to other agents, but there is no clear workload definition object. So when you do a visual builder, where it's going, like after when you save it, it's translated to some kind of a workload definition in YAML, in Kubernetes, or how do you currently have it?
Uh, Basically, based on
I
the
think this.
last meet discussion. Sorry, you can continue, Ethan.
No. You go.
No, you go ahead, Ronit, then Ethan go next.
Okay, good. Basically, based on last meet discussion, when I proposed the idea for the first time, you guys just said ki initially try to implement in such a way that it can basically adapt in the current code base very easily. So right now I have made a visual agent builder in terms of UI. Like there is a generator function from a form based to visual agent and visual agent to form based. So basically, everything is same internally, like how agents are working or how agents are created in Go and how resources are being created. It just there is a visual interface for creating those agents. And after, let's say, if these get merged, then accordingly, I'll try to work on how things internally should be created so that different nodes and different things can be implemented and how multi-agent system can be created, something like n10. And accordingly, I'll try to add more different features on the visual agent part. But right now, it is just a like visual layer, just the UI layer, not some drastic internal changes. It's just a UI layer where we can just drag and drop and create agents, and
So
it can be easily converted into formats. Yeah.
okay, it's clear now. Thank you.
Sure.
Ethan, were you trying to chime in too?
No, that's what I was going to say.
Okay, so should we jump in to see your demo then? By the way, does anybody know the PR I'll
Wait,
put in the
let me
agenda
share the
so people
screen.
know?
I will find it.
Yeah, 1080.
Are you able to see the screen?
Yes.
Hi. Yeah, fine. So let me continue. Let's say when we go to create new agent, then here I have added one button called form based builder or visual agent builder. So when we go to visual agent builder, let me fine. When we go to Visual Agent Builder, then here will be an interface with some basic setup of nodes. So basically, this is a first node is basically a basic info node, something like similar to how we adding the name of agent and description of agent. So we can add here. Basically, let's say name of agent is let's say admin name, and let's say select the namespace here, and for now keep it declarative, and now I'll go to select a model. We can, if there is no template, then we can just drag and drop uh, drag drag and drop nodes from here, and accordingly we can have different nodes here. So we can just drag and drop and basically connect the nodes like this. So we can do all these things. And so right now, let me show how we can do all the things. So right now from here, basically I'll select the model, like which LLM we want to use. And from here, we can edit the system prompts. And let's say, let me add some tool use. So let's right
Can I
now,
ask you if the
let's
screens
say,
are refreshing for everybody? Or maybe just me not seeing the refresh.
I'm not seeing
hello.
No,
Are
I
you
think it disappeared for me as well.
okay? So basically, I'm all seeing this static page of you, which is agent/new, but I'm not seeing
Wait,
your
wait.
action.
If it's not, let me share again. Actually, I think I don't know why it's not working, but wait, let me share again. Sorry.
No worries. This feature sounds very exciting. Interestingly, yesterday I installed N8N, which also have a cool workflow builder. I think yours is kind of like that too. So I'm really excited to see what you build.
Is it visible now? Actually,
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Okay, fine. So basically, here we can add the basic infos like agent name, and right now I have just implemented the declarative type, and we can just add description here. And from this node is basically LLM node, from where we can just select the LLM. And if there is no LLM, then we can just click on the left side of the panel, and we can just have different nodes to build different features. So let's say for now, let me delete all these. And now after selecting the LLM, we can just edit the system prompt from here. Let me keep as it is, and let me add tool. So okay, fine. Let's add tool here, and let me connect the nodes.
I'm not
And
seeing your
after adding
action.
tool,
Yeah, I
hello.
think your network.
I think
it's locked up
yeah,
again.
it's frozen.
Okay, so it might be good. Maybe have you do a recording for us after the meeting when you have time, because right now we only see your words but
Okay,
not see
fine,
your
fine.
movement on the screen. Maybe because of your network
I don't
speed.
know why it's not working, but fine. I'll add the recording in the PR. Fine, fine.
Yeah, I think it's probably
Yeah, thank you
network.
so much. Yeah, so I have a question. So actually, like I said, I was played the same thing with N8N, and what they have, because they have a workflow, which my understanding is, Dimitri, you're looking at adding multi-agent support, right? So when we design this builder, are we going to also have multi-agent in mind? Well, I could potentially, maybe in one of my agent, I can expanding to say, hey, this is the tool configuration, this is the provider provider configuration, and then I have another agent. So I'm just trying to think about, have you thought of how this would work when it's multi-agent?
Right. I think from my side as well, the same observation. So the current builder is focused around one single agent, basically a CRD of agent with tools, with model, where in many cases you have one-to-one relationship. Like you have basically one agent, one model, one system prompt, right? So basically these things are easily could be converted as property of agent, and then we can extend it to kind of so one block per agent, and then you can have like 2 agents, 3 agents, connected with each other, and you can have a starting point which will be your chat, right? Or you can have a K-hook, or you can have like maybe in future some other ways how you initiate the workflow, and as a result you will get like a workflow with multi-agents. So the simplest workflow for now, it's basically you have a chat, you put your message to the agent, and then maybe you have another sub-agent as a tool and tools, right? In future, we would like to have chat talking to the one agent, and then it can go to split to multiple agents in parallel, in sequential, or in the loop. So it will be like a real workflow with a kind of workflow instance where you can see entire like process instance, let's call it like this. Okay, so we wouldn't definitely, it's looks great. I mean, I really like the visual building part, the icons, and then you can drag and drop and build it quickly. But we need to focus a bit on this future, how we want to see it. Yeah, thanks a lot for taking it and presenting. Looks very nice.
Yeah, looks really good. Sorry if I didn't make that clear. And, it's just so exciting to have this potential feature land in Kagent. What I wanted to do is, unfortunately, my Google Meets is all screwed up. I actually want to share a screenshot I have with N8N I captured yesterday, just give us a little bit more idea on how the UI could be placed. Because I think if you look at the real estate, right, when you look at the screen, it's normally more wide than the height. The way you position right now, I think it's more like a water going down flow. I assume you could potentially drag horizontally. Is that true, Ronit? Like if I want to do a horizontal flow, that's potentially.
But
Yeah,
the
we
thing that he
can do
created
it.
isn't a flow, right? The thing that he created is like, I think we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. I do think we need to think about the future for sure. But like this thing that Ronit created right now is a visual agent builder just of a single agent, right? Think of it less of a workflow, because it's not a workflow. There's no workflow happening here. It's just, this is an agent and these are its pieces. And I want to drag and drop rather than typing. That's it. So we can figure out from here how we want to move to workflows, visual workflow builders, things like that. But I think it's important to recognize that that's not what's happening here on purpose, because we wanted to start really small. So I think in some ways it actually makes sense that it's down, because that's showing that you're not moving, and maybe directional lines aren't correct, and we can think through all those details. But I think it's important to just keep in mind that this is just literally like dragging and dropping to create, not a workflow. There's no directionality here.
Yeah, Ethan, you are actually right. Because when I proposed this idea, Peter said, "Okay, start small and just add some visual layer. Then accordingly, we'll work on the multi-agent feature and all." So initially, when I saw this Kagent project, initially I just thought, this is something like N8N for the complete infrastructure. But right now, whatever stage this is at, I feel we can build this into something like N8N, where we'll have a multiple agent interface and all the things integrated, so that we can manage the complete infrastructure just by having a chat with a multiple agent and manage different parts of the infrastructure in a one go. So this is what my vision and plan is actually, to implement this part completely.
Yep.
Great, makes total sense.
I'm just adding links to the existing builders. You have LangChain build, you have OpenAI agent builder. Please also try to look on all kind of different examples, not only an A10. So basically, we can discuss which features are fit for our vision, for our kind of use case, and what will be the good and what will be probably something that we can avoid.
I agree. That makes sense to me as well.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a great starting point, definitely. By the way, the reason I want to mention this is I captured this simple screenshot yesterday. So I think what you have right now, you have this agent, right? So you have the configuration of the agent, like model here. I think you had your configuration of your agent. I forgot. I think you had some tools in your configuration. So what I'm envisioning is you could potentially have an AI agent here, and then when down the road, when we add conversation between another AI agent, we could just add another agent here as well. So your vertical flow that belongs to that single agent can continue to be reused, and then the conversation among the agent can be potentially like a horizontal, which is kind of what you have right now, except that right now you only have one agent, which is a great starting point.
I agree totally. Yeah.
By the way, is your background, the UI is kind of a similar? Because I know they have like the dots, the grids on the builder too, which is super cool. I think you have it too. It's kind of like, is that the Visio providing that?
Basically, it's a React library called XY Flow, which is used to build this node-based system. So I've used that actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool.
And
Awesome. Well, yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing. Oh, sorry.
I have one more thing actually, because right now when I saw the repo, there is no RAG part. I mean, no very advanced RAG part where we are using vector DBs and all the things to manage the conversation from different chats. So if you guys want, I can create a feature for the complete RAG system where we will have a vector database and a retrieval system with re-rankings and all the retrieval algorithms implemented, so that whenever user go to chat with the system, he can basically take the references from the past chat also, because all his data and vectors will be stored in the local vector DB. Maybe it could be Phase or some Qtren DB, like making a more advanced RAG system in the chat part. So I can do that too, because I have implemented a lot of these systems previously. So if you guys want, I can create a new feature related to the RAG system, and this visual agent builder is some another system. So what do you feel about the RAG system?
So what benefits would that bring to the user? Would that improve their
Basically,
accuracy of their?
Right now, the chat feature is that in chat feature just work on the single chat. Like let's say if user chats multiple times, it will have a multiple chat histories, but it can't take references from other different chats. So if you build a robust RAG system, then user can take references from the past chats too, because all the things will be stored in vector DBs, and RAG system can retrieve those information based on the user chat and prompt rigorously. So he don't need to switch back and forth in from different chat. He just can point out the chat from particular day or week, and all these things can user can get into single chat, and it can just work fine. So this will be the advantage of using RAG, and it will have a consistent memory. Like user don't need to have chat every time a new chat. The system will know like what user wants and what user is doing for months.
Yeah, thanks. What do you all think? I'm a little bit worried about it may bring some complexity to the project. I assume it would involve install a vector database. But what does other people think?
I mean,
I would say the both tasks like the UI builder and RAG, they are pretty big and require a lot of attention. So from your focus point of view, if you plan to work on something, maybe you need to do it like one by one, like because of definitely RAG something is on our plan. I would say we discussed the issue that the embeddings itself needs to have independent implementation where we can deploy embeddings in different type of models and things without having this dependency on embedding provider, or make it a little bit more generic. And Quadrant or something, it's just could be a different options. We can also run it as a embedded SQLite, as a Postgres PGWAC, and also Quadrant. So there are multiple options. So we need to think how we do it in most generic way. And so bringing this generic approach to embeddings and generic approach to vector DB, and then thinking about how the memory will be processed, how you take only the relevant parts, maybe by looking the successful responses only, or every session when it's finished, you can just learn from it and put in RAG kind of like a summary, that you can use. That's all really like a big questions that we need to answer and find it the best balance from design. So I don't think it's a kind of a single task. It's maybe a multitask thing that we will need to go through, like solving the embedding API, solving the RAG itself, and solving the memory summarization on the sessions, how sessions will be, processed as a pipeline or something.
yeah, I agree.
What you said is absolutely right. Like this rack system is a multitask system. What I was saying that basically previously I've built a multiple rack system, and I have one of my repo which is around 120 stars, and it is caught under LFDT. There also I have built a robust rack system. So if you guys want, I can create a very good rack system based on your repo, and I'll try as much possible that it won't affect the existing infrastructure. I'll try to model in such a way, and I can just show you this rack system in the next community meet, which will be on around 17 to 18 November. So I can show you that. So if you guys want me to continue, then I can also continue at that part too. And trust me, like it won't affect the existing infrastructure, and most probably like whatever the code structure is, I can integrate it easily. I mean, I think so.
Yeah, let's have a follow-up. I would like to see if you have any example of repos, please share. I think, yeah, and maybe we can start with the issue where you can create like a initial design proposal, and then we can discuss on that. We have a template for this.
Okay,
if you
fine.
have
So,
yeah, we have a template where you can create like your proposal for the improvement, or how it's called, enhancement, and there we can put all the comments and discuss it. If there is a repo where you have done something very similar, please share as well. And yeah, let's define the criteria, what we want to see there, if it's already matching and stuff like that.
wait, let me share the report. Basically, this was a repo where we have implemented a system, but this is kind of more advanced. I mean, because here we have used web containers and all the things, and here most of the RAG part is basically based on prompting. And right now, the vector DB is not implemented in a very good scale. But I was saying that for this Kagent part, I'll be implementing the phase or Qt vector DB along with this retrieval system. So like this could be the reference repo where there will be various system prompts to understand the need of the user, and accordingly the retrieval and all the things work.
So I think what Dimitri's trying to say is it's basically if you could, rather than just going off and implementing, which is totally fine, it could be fine as well as long as you're, I think the problem is that if you go off and implement without doing a design first, then there's a chance that we as a community might say, hey, like actually we don't think this is correct. And then you need to go back, right? And you've just wasted your time, which so that's totally up to you. But if you prefer, I just posted, there's a template for a design document. If you create a design document for what you're planning to build, then we can talk about that first. And there's less of a chance of you building something that we end up saying isn't correct or we don't want to merge first for some reason. So I think that's probably the best path forward. It was a little bit different with the UI thing you just did, because oftentimes the UI is kind of especially with brand new UI features, it's often a skin over something existing. Whereas what you're talking about is fully creating a back-end system, which is just a different level of thing. And so I think it's important that we have a design before we start implementing it, given that you haven't done any back-end features for us yet.
Fine.
Does that make sense?
Basically, I'll create the design part and like how will be architecting the system, and basically accordingly we'll discuss in the design template. So fine.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Perfect.
that sounds great. And also, I want to echo Dimitri's point earlier. We really love the agent builder you have. We would love to see that, getting merged, getting recorded, have it people's hands to play before you investigate into this RAG thing, because I think the builder is very exciting.
Yeah, so for example, you can submit some kind of proposal with a high-level architecture ideas, and then focus on the UI builder, on more like making it ready for the final implementation, and make the PR through the review to get it merged actually. And in parallel, you can have a discussion on the architecture and the backend and the RAG and everything. And just I think some of the features will take a bit of longer, like how you personally estimate the RAG and the UI effort that you would need to do.
Basically, for the RAG part, I'm pretty much used to and very much confident with this. So I could build this under, let's say, 15 days or 10 days, like the complete RAG system. I can do that in under 10 days. And for the visual agent part, whatever we have planned last time, based on that, I have built a complete UI feature. And the next stage would be that like we need to add some things in the back end, so that the visual agent builder workflow can be created, like different workflows and different multi-agent workflows. So for creating multi-agent workflows for the visual agent builder for something like NA10, we need to have a detailed architecture in the back end. So basically, for this part, I'll also design a different design template where how we can integrate multi-agent system with Kagent, so that it could work very much properly with the visual agent builder, and we can make a robust NA10 like thing for the infrastructure, like how Kagent based on. So something like that. For reference, let's say I have shown you PR, which is raised by Peter, where he just asks right now, whenever we try to create an agent, basically we name the agent, we write the description and all the things, and then we select different tools, and then only we go to the chat part. So in this PR, basically Peter had said propose a feature of creating a agent in a way that just by adding some simple description and a system prompt, we can just create an agent. And whenever we try to write some system prompt, whenever we try to chat with the system, we can just use at the rate to add some different tool uses, and on the go we can have multiple tool uses directly without having adding tool users in the initially. We can just add a variable number of tool use as per our need in different chats or in different text prompts, so that
sorry, so let me just interrupt you. I'm sorry, it's getting
Okay.
to I'm losing you.
Fine.
So just maybe one comment on top. If you noticed, the one of the problems with NA10 was that at some point the real complex workflow requires user to actually be able to build the entire process, connect many dots and different tools, and you need to understand what these tools' capabilities are, and so on and so on. At some point, this complexity is real there, and it's not so easy. So what NA10 came with, they came up with NA10 MCP. And when you're actually able just to open the chat and connect MCP of NA10 and say, like, generate for me entire flow from the description, right? So which maybe like skipping all this kind of like manual workflow builder and everything, and just, you know, going back to the prompt and going back to kind of like, you know, make me happy, write a workflow for me. And I think this is when they did it, we've seen like a explosion of people using NA10 and flows, because before it was more expert-based knowledge, and you need to have knowledge about NA10 and everything. Now, with MCP and with a prompt, you can create workflows pretty much, you know, without any prior knowledge or training or anything. So it's also something that we need to consider, maybe, you know, that in future, when we will have the workflow agents and multi-agent systems, perhaps the Kagent will be able to create agents just by running the prompt, and it will do it for you based on all the best practices and things like that. Okay, so let's see. I think all of the suggestions and ideas are great. Let's put it in the proper way into the enhancement proposal, and then, you know, we can discuss each of it with everyone contributing the comments and things. Okay.
Sure, fine. Yeah, and
Yeah, that sounds great. Thank you, Ronit, for presenting. And if you have a recording, please let us know. We would love to watch it. With that, I think we have 7 minutes left. I know a couple of you are going to KubeCon next week. We would be really excited to see you. We do have a party on Wednesday. We would love you all to join if you travel there. And does anybody else have any topic they want to discuss? I did go ahead and cancel the meeting for next week, just so everybody knows, because a lot of people won't be able to attend. So we will not have any meeting next week.
I have one question. You guys kind of answered several of my questions already, just in the back and forth conversation. But what is your take and roadmap on like productionized agents? So like specifically around scalability and security. Say we were to take some of these agents that we create, like currently it kind of seems like it's geared towards internal customers or employees using them. Are there any plans to make these agents scalable and be able to like give customers interfaces into these agents?
So, sorry, go.
Yeah, just I think the first one is A2A, so you already can connect with via A2A to existing agents. They're exposed even now. I think to give it to external customers, it depends really on your use cases. because it usually involves like a different UI with different user management and other things, which needs to be translated into the security layer like JWT, access, and so on the backend, right? So from what I've seen, it's really like your external application, which is handling all of this, user management and so on, multi-tenancy, and then you can, like if you want, you can start the session via A to A on the Kagent side and then work with it.
Okay. So like so I work at Ancestry, and this isn't necessarily like exactly what we're doing yet, but there's lots of talks about different tools and stuff. But like say we have a genealogist agent that is helping people research their family tree, try to solve difficult problems for them, which we've kind of prototyped before, and it seems to work really well. Say we were to expose something like that to the customer, but we wanted to run these agents on our Kubernetes infrastructure. We may need to like scale this agent to like, I don't know, thousands of agents potentially, maybe less, probably some large number. Is there plans to be able to scale like the same agent, I don't know, like on an HBA type level, to handle all these different sort of requests? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. So your agent right now is not on Kagent, right? But you're looking at potentially moving to Kagent that allows you to leverage the benefits Kubernetes provide to be able to scale the agents through some type of scaling mechanism. Is that what you're looking at?
Correct. Yeah. I mean, so we're still going to be interested in, at least for our internal operations, no matter what. But I just want to, I'm curious where the roadmap looks like for that, so I can make sure I'm able to present everything to the people who are interested.
I think there's two things. So first off, right now, you actually could set up an HPA. So our agents just use deployments under the hood. So if you use any kind of BYO, declarative agent, doesn't matter, either one, you could hook up an HPA right now based on whatever metrics you wanted. CPU, again, if you had your own BYO agent, it would be using Kagent as its runtime and its state management. But you could export your own metrics, to do with load, whatever sort of load you were worried about. And then hook up an HPA. Now, granted, that stuff is not documented, but we don't control. But so unless you specifically set the replica count through our API, we're going to allow you to manage it with any kind of external system. So that's one. The second thing I want to mention is that we're very interested in more dynamic scaling architectures. So things like scale to zero, right? Because most of these applications or agents are really kind of fire and forget. Maybe they're running for 5 minutes and then waiting on user input. Maybe they run a couple times a day, right? So there's definitely a lot of desire for more dynamic scaling systems. So that's something that I know I've talked to others at Solo about, and I think we're very interested in pursuing in a post KubeCon timeframe. So.
Okay. And the last one, maybe, I don't know, Ethan, I haven't done any deep investigation about it, but I think if we will scale it more to more replicas, do we need any special routing on the mesh or something which will guarantee that the sessions are routed to the same thing, or it will be just persistent connection?
So right now, it's a great question. We don't do session-based routing, which is an enhancement, but it's not a requirement because everything is saved into the database anyway. So assuming you disconnect and reconnect, all your data will be available. But if you can add sticky sessions to make it faster, but it is not a requirement, a strict requirement, because we are saving everything all the time. So okay. Yeah. So unless you have specific use cases where you're like creating and saving Python scripts locally, which we is actually going to come out in the next couple of weeks. I'll say that we're going to have a lot more support for files and creating files, saving files, writing scripts, executing scripts, all sorts of stuff like that. But unless you're doing a lot of that stuff, which ends up in temporary volumes and you don't want to have to redo it, right? Like the everything about the conversation and everything about the session state is stored in the DB anyway. So it should come up on,
but I think if you would basically deploy it in production, like it would make sense to add a layer of service mesh and add layer of like agent gateway and things like that. For example, with service mesh, you can implement the consistent hashing load balancer for the agents, which will be based on your session header and stuff like this, and it will improve the the response times, the whatever Ethan mentioned regarding the cold start versus you have agent which is already there.
Yep, totally agree. And I mean also, not even for fancy things. I mean, I think as a solo employee, I'd say we recommend a service mesh anyway for encryption and authorization, right, for all of your security purposes. So regardless of whether you want sticky sessions or not, I think I would personally recommend running a service mesh, but also,
Yeah, but yeah, I think we're right on time. I think that what we are discussing is the benefit of running your agents in Kubernetes, so you can leverage the existing infrastructure that Kubernetes already provide along with its ecosystem, which is super cool. All right. With that, we would love to wrap up the call. Colin, I will send you a link if you would be up to maybe add yourself to a potential user on the Kagent site whenever you're ready. So look forward to see some of you next week in Atlanta. Thanks everybody for joining. Bye.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.